Lock in Ladakh, India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh held a marathon session with his Chinese counterpart, Wei Fenghe, in Moscow. According to reports, the Indian Defence Minister Rajnath Singh told his Chinese counterpart that China must respect the status quo ante at all flashpoints along the line of actual control. But while the Indian and the Chinese defence ministers were at the meeting, China reportedly was busy peddling some propaganda. Now, Global Times, the mouthpiece of the Chinese government, has been publishing a lot of pieces on the border face-off. China's most belligerent tabloid is hurling insults and is also resorting to saber-rattling. And now it is claimed that India has borne full responsibility for the current China-India border tensions. Bear in mind that this was a meeting that was requested for by the Chinese defense minister, and now, because this meeting has happened, Global Times has got some pretty interesting claims to make. While the meeting was the first high-level dialogue between the two sides amidst the rising tensions, it of course comes on the sidelines of the SCO summit. Earlier discussions between the military officials of India and China have achieved little since the deadly clash that took place in the Galwan Valley on the 15th of June. The Defence Secretary Ajay Kumar and Indian Ambassador to Russia Venkatesh Verma were also a part of the Indian delegation. The meeting comes at a time when the Indian Army Chief has said that the situation along the line of actual control continues to remain very delicate and very serious. Now, in a message just hours before the meeting, the Indian Defence Minister Rajnath Singh cautioned China against any form of aggression. The Indian and the Chinese troops continued to be engaged in a bitter standoff in Ladakh, with both sides having reinforced fortifications on their respective sides. The tensions flared in the Ladakh sector after the Indian Army occupied key heights on the southern bank of Pangong Lake to stop the PLA from grabbing Indian territory in a stealthy midnight move on the 29th of August. While the PLA made another provocative move on the 31st of August, targeting these positions, the Indian Army's swift defensive action thwarted any Chinese aggression. And WION Siddhant Sibil has been tracking the story very closely for us, and he sent us this report. Listen in.
The situation remains nasty at the India-China line of actual control. This is what the US President Donald Trump has said. But by and large, last 48 hours have seen a number of engagements and conversations, including an in-person political engagement between the Indian Defence Minister and the Chinese Defence Minister in Moscow that lasted for over 2 hours. Now, of course, focus from New Delhi's side is that through diplomacy and engagement, the situation or the tensions reduce, but by and large situation on the ground from New Delhi's perspective remains tense. In fact, on Friday, both the Indian Foreign Secretary and the Army Chief said that how the situation remains a challenging one on the ground, and the window is very small before situation can change in terms of the winter setting in. The harsh winter setting in, and once the winter set in, the situation will of course consolidate. So before that, the Indian side has clearly and firmly told the Chinese side that disengagement is the only way forward, especially when it comes to Pangong Lake, the north bank of the Pangong Lake, finger 4 to finger 8. We know the Chinese side over the last weekend tried to occupy the southern part of the Pangong Lake as well, but that was thwarted by the Indian Army. With video journalist Kapil, Siddhant Sibil for WION in New Delhi.